Welcome everyone to the April 14, 2026 meeting of the Town of Montgomery IDA Board. I'd like to call to order the meeting. I am George DeClue, first Vice Chair and Board Member. With me today, Jose Hernandez, Second Vice Chair, Stacy Hillman, Miley Masad, and Ms. Greg's
Greg's not here.
Okay.
Sorry, we had a last-second emergency.
Also with us is our Director, Vincent Rojotas, Secretary Lauren Rowley, Legal Counsel Rudy Zodak, and live streaming is the team Acquisition Marketing. Okay. Approval of the March meeting minutes. Confirming the quorum is here, present today. We have to move forward to approval of the March 10, 2026 meeting minutes. If the board members see no additions or corrections, would like to make a motion to approve those meeting minutes.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Second.
Second. Approved. Next on the agenda, public comments regarding the meetings on the agenda. Obviously, there's no public here, and nobody is in the audience. Executive Director report. Vincent?
Sure. So, some administrative matters since our last board meeting. The annual parish report for both the IDA and the CRC has been completed. Certified is now publicly available on our website. The board's confidential board evaluations have been submitted to the ABO. Financial disclosures for all board members are due on May 1st, so I have printed them out today for everyone to fill out if they didn't fill them out yet. So please do that before you leave. And those have to be submitted to the Town and County Board of Ethics. There was, with our parish report, one of our projects, Tower Holdings, did not pay their pilot bill in 2025, their school pilot, which is, obviously a big no-no. So I did send a letter regarding the non-payment. So they missed their September bill for the school, and they also missed their January bill for the town for a total of $182,000. And this was the first year with their pilot that they went from 100% exemption on the new taxes to a 50%. So there was like the first year the project got put on the tax roll. So I sent them a letter about, a very stern letter saying, if payment's not submitted in full, or they fail to respond with a plan to remediate this, that we'd be forced to pursue clawbacks. I am happy to report that they did respond, and they submitted a payment of $133,000 to the town to cover the school portion of last year's bill, and they gave word that they will have the remaining payment by the end of the week. So I'll continue to monitor that until full payment is received, but I spoke with their executive vice president on this, and they obviously want to be compliant. I think I don't know if there's miscommunication or what it was, but I did reiterate the importance of paying their pilot bills on time, and this is kind of like a warning, or if it continues to happen, we'll obviously, pursue next steps with that.
Who was this? I'm sorry, I missed that.
This is Tower Holdings.
The big glass building?
Across from ShopRite.
So like I said, they did pay a large portion of what is owed, and they're working on getting the rest of the payment to us, hopefully by the end of this week. So
Can we just ask a question?
Yeah.
So that money that they paid, that's because they didn't follow through, so they had to pay. So if you.
So their pilot bill for 2025 for the school portion was, I think it was $120,000, give or take.
That was their payment?
That was for their payment in lieu of tax for the school portion.
Okay.
They paid their town portion last year, which is due in the beginning of the year.
Yep.
The school portion is due in September. So they paid that, they didn't pay the 2025 school portion last year. So when I did the parish report, there's obviously $0 received from them for the school, so that was on the parish report. And
so is this 133 or whatever,
So
which is, was that for 2 years?
that's for, no, I think that's for the 2025 plus the penalty that they have to pay, because if you don't pay there's like a 2%. Each month they don't pay, there's a additional late fee percentage charge to it.
So their payments that they made were pretty significant, if they had followed the program.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
so,
Okay.
yeah. So, I mean, they like I said, they're up to date with their school portion now. We haven't received the town portion for this year yet, so they're gonna have to pay a late fee on that as well. But they, like I said, they did say they're working on remediating it and getting us our full payment, so they fully intend to pay their pilot bill. But I just, again, I reiterated to them that this can't happen again, so.
Right.
Next, I'm working with our website company that handle our website. There's a couple of things on our website that I want to have redesigned, and we do have banked support hours where, you know, our agreement with them is going to cover it. Really, I just want to redesign some pages to make it a little easier to navigate and find certain, you know, documents. You know, I've had, you know, discussion, a conversation months back with like the school district, for instance, that said they had a hard time finding our parish report or whatever. So I'm working with them right now to clean up some stuff on the website, so more to come on that. Project updates and business development. So Choice Films, we're working on their closing documents now. They requested our legal team send them the doc. I know, Rudy, you can comment on it. You had sent all this needed stuff to them, to their attorney, and I guess with my conversations with Summer and Tony, they never saw it. So they asked that we send them the documents directly, which, you know, you followed up with an email with them this week. So they have all the closing documents now. They're working on getting it done. They're very adamant about moving forward and closing. So, and I actually have a meeting with them today after our board meeting with local labor monitor and the Construction Contractors Association. So they're trying to figure out who their contractors are going to be, but very adamant about moving forward. So we do anticipate them closing pretty soon. With that, you know, we talked about helping the film industry expand here, and so I've been coordinating with the town engineer and the town supervisor to update the zoning code to formally allow mixed-use film within the town. Currently, the way it is in the coding, it's kind of a gray area. You know, it's under kind of like general industry that they're going through. But we want to outline specific film uses in the towns, just to help them, you know, we want to help develop planning for a future like film industry park. There's nothing in the code right now that'll allow mixed uses in this industrial zone to allow that. So we're going to help update that and, you know, keep trying to attract further film industry investment. And that zoning amendment should be done, I anticipate it being done by the end of May, hopefully earlier than that. The Steam Business Park, formerly known as the Galaxy Business Park in Maybrook, site work is currently underway. They got approvals for the tree clearing and the infrastructure build-out. We are currently in active discussions with the Orange County Partnership regarding an advanced food manufacturer that has expressed strong interest in one of the pad sites. I've been having discussions with them and the user for a few months now, and a big part of what attracted them here is the IDA's incentive package. So it's been a real key driver for attracting investment. I anticipate receiving a formal IDA application for our board, hopefully for next meeting. This is a new one, agritourism hospitality project. So I recently met with the owner of a local dairy farm who's interested in revitalizing and restoring a dormant dairy farm into a high-end agritourism and hospitality destination. The proposed concept kind of centers around like a farm-to-table culinary experience with some educational agricultural programming for kids and guests that want to come, you know, see the dairy cows, and, you know, they have a whole bunch of farm activities planned that they want to do to help, like, with kids and, you know, bring in some tourism. That's so I did tour the farm with him. I think the project would be great. It fits into, you know, the narrative of the town. You know, it's an industry we're trying to attract here and preserve our farmland, so it's something I'm definitely interested in. We're trying to work with him right now to connect with the county to see if they would be eligible for the county's open space fund to help, you know, which helps preserve open space and farmland. So I think that there's an avenue for them to get additional funding through that, but Like I said, I think it's going to be a good project, and it's still early. A lot still needs to happen, but you know, they're pretty adamant about wanting to do it. So
Is it
And where is that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
it's in the town.
The
It's
town of Montgomery?
town of Montgomery. Yep.
Okay.
It's kind of on the outskirts. I don't want to disclose
Right.
who the user is
Oh,
yet,
okay.
just
Is
because
it
it's not.
inactive?
It's an active dairy farm, but it's really run down and
Yeah.
So he wants to.
if you know, this gentleman actually bought the dairy farm to help the original dairy farm owner revitalize it and keep it alive, really, because the way they're operating now, it's, you know, maybe a year left before they have to close shop. Like it's just too much for the woman who lives there, who runs it. You know, she's kind of running the dairy farm all by herself. So, you know, this gentleman's pretty active in the community and, you know, wants to do this project as, you know, to kind of keep the farm in place and, you know, help bring in tourism as well. So I think it's going to be a good project. The Polar Express, as you know, I've been talking about this for a few months now. Unfortunately, the site that we were looking at in the town with the owners of the attraction, it would have required a zoning amendment. So, you know, the town directed me to present the project to this nearby housing development with a public information session. And there was a lot of opposition from this community, so the town supervisor decided not to move forward with the zoning amendment to open, at least having a public hearing. So I'm still continuing to work with them. There's still, this company still wants to be in Montgomery. They really love the Montgomery area, so we're working right now to find alternative sites, either in the village of Maybrook or the village of Montgomery. You know.
So there won't be a public hearing?
No, so they would have had to amend the zoning for the project to go with the site that we were looking on.
Yeah, but a lot of projects need looking into. I mean, it happens all over. Why can't we look into it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you know, again, it's, the zoning for the site where it is now is residential, and, you know, it is nearby this, this community, so, you know, I did present that I thought that, you know, there would have been a sufficient buffer, but, you know,
Right.
the residents showed up, and they, you know, didn't really want that in their backyards, and
Oh, so the
Yeah.
resident, you did hold something like
I held a public hearing for the residents
Right.
of the housing development. It was supposed to be an informational
Right.
meeting to kind of garner, you know, feedback, you know, like I wanted to present the project, and, you know, kind of hear what their concerns were, and we could take that information and address their concerns. But I think with the, you know, the amount of people that showed up that were in high opposition,
Right.
the town board decided to not pursue the zoning amendment for the site. So, but I do think there's a couple viable options in the village. It's just making the right connections, and you know, hopefully the property owners of these sites would be amenable to it. Because I do think that an attraction like this would be great for the town, great for the villages. I do it every year with my family. It's a very family-friendly, young children, family-oriented attraction. You know, everyone goes, they get on the train, they take off, the train comes back, and everyone goes out to dinner at the local restaurant. So it's a nice thing. It's like I said, it's very, you know, very family-friendly.
So the problem
attraction,
is just the loading and unloading, because it doesn't sit there, it goes.
Yeah, so what they would look to do is like kind of build a station, right, which really just an open parking lot with a train station where they board the train. And they only operate, you know, Saturday and Sunday for most of the year, from Easter to Christmas time, and then the 6 weeks leading up to Christmas, they operate Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the Polar Express, which is like their busy season. So it's really 6 weeks they're really busy. The rest of the year is kind of like, you know, small events on the weekends for a few hours. But I do think, I said, I think it'd be good for the town. I think it fits in with our, you know, the town was built on rail. You know, it's in the town seal. I don't know if you can see it behind me, but it's in the front here. You know, we'll see. The project's not dead. It's still possible, but, you know, we just have to get back to work and hit the drawing board and see if we can find another
Right.
site. So, some events and meetings from this month. I attended the Orange County IDA's Brownfield public meeting with the EPA. So this is a new initiative from Orange County IDA about restoring brownfields in the county. And they're working in partnership with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency on this. The presentation outlined a framework for identifying, assessing, and transforming abandoned and potentially contaminated properties into shovel-ready, revenue-generating community assets. This initiative may present future collaboration opportunities relevant to our own economic development goals. And the site that comes to mind with me is 29 Grand Street in the village of Walton. It's a really old brownfield that's kind of fallen apart. We've had some, you know, people interested in exploring it for revitalization, you know, but it's been kind of a revolving door of developers interested. The price, I think, is a little too high, and you know, eventually they walk away. So hopefully, you know, with collaboration with the Orange County IDA or, you know, the state, we can get some grant funding to help alleviate the cost for this. But that's what comes to mind when I think of brownfields in the town of Montgomery. It's 29 Grand Street. It's I think there's a lot of potential.
The Polar Express there.
We did explore that site for the Polar Express. The only problem with that site is, one, the Polar Express people aren't in the redevelopment business. They're not going to redevelop. That's a heavy lift project.
No, but
But-
if somebody does, couldn't they allow Polar Express
They
to come and
could,
use the?
they could, but for their Polar Express, they need a parking lot that's capable of handling, you know, up to 200 cars,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And they just don't have the parking
Right.
capabilities there. But they did say if there was redevelopment there and they were to find someone on that line, that they could stop there, do small events there, you know? So it's, you know, it's not off the table.
I'm sure the
for-
mayor
but-
would love to see that happen too.
Oh, I think the village of Walden
Yeah.
and Montgomery would love to see it.
Yeah,
And
that'd be great.
they've expressed that as well, so.
So the challenge is the parking.
The biggest challenge is finding a site along a railroad
That's gonna
that can
happen.
accommodate the parking needed for their events, and that's the biggest challenge. So, moving on, so I held a meeting, as I mentioned before, with Choice Films and our local labor monitor. So I wanted to engage Choice Films with our labor monitor early in the process to make sure that, you know, they don't do anything out of compliance and that they understand our local labor policy well enough. So, you know, our local labor monitor, who's Fellinger Engineering, they're very, very open to working with them and, you know, want to make sure that, you know, they're with them at every step of the way so they are compliant with their policy. With that, Choice Films has expressed, you know, a need for contractors. You know, they don't know a lot of the construction business around in Hudson Valley, so I was able to connect them with the CEO of the Construction Contractors Association of Hudson Valley, Dan Depew, to assist their team with navigating the pre-construction planning and identify qualified contractors for their project. So, like I said, we have a follow-up meeting today at 2 o'clock after our meeting, so I will be meeting with them today. Additionally, Choice Stage Montgomery, they recently celebrated their one-year anniversary with a vendor appreciation event. I had the honor of speaking at the celebration, and the event drew a crowd of, you know, more than 200 attendees, and really showed a very prime example of the impact that film can have on a community. There's a lot of local vendors there that they patronize, you know, serving food, drinks, you know, people from the county, regional stakeholders. So it was a really good event. I was very happy to speak on it. And, you know, like I said, I want to help keep growing this thing here. I think film is such a large impact on the local economy. And I'm going to really make it a strong priority of mine to keep focusing and trying to attract investment here. You know, Montgomery is being talked around the county and the region now as the home of film. And I think that's awesome. And I don't want to stop. So, let's see. And then, last but not least, I attended the Orange County Chamber, the State of the County breakfast. So, this is you know, the Orange County Chamber hosts a monthly networking breakfast for all their membership. This month featured a presentation from the county executive, Steve Newhouse, on the state of the county. Notably, the presentation highlighted current economic development initiatives across the county, including specific recognition of the film industry's growth in Montgomery and the development of the new STEAM Business Park in Maybrook, both which reflect well on the IDA's ongoing work and regional partnerships. So more to come. I think we're going to have a pretty good year this year with that business park, and hopefully we continue to attract some good investment in film. But that'll be it for my report.
Thank you, Vincent.
Nice job.
Next for the financial report, Stacy Hillman will give us an overview of the financial report.
Okay, so at the end of March, the checkbook, the public fund checkbook, there was a balance of $1,872.65. Then a deposit was made for $45,000, bringing the balance to $46,872.65. Out of that, there were checks written. One was for $1754.61 to CSU.
That's our insurance.
Okay.
The IDA's insurance.
Another one for $28,243.53 was to the town of Montgomery. That was fourth quarter fees. Bleakley and Platt, that's our attorney. Two checks were written, $1,368, $1,775.74. And then there was another check written to PFK O'Connor Davis.
That's for our audit.
Okay,
That's
the audit,
yeah.
right. That one was for $8,625. There was a total written of $41,766.88, bringing the new balance to $5,105.77. Sailfish escrow, there's a balance, $3,203, and then came the, like a dormant bank fee for $3, leaving their balance $3,200. Key Capture Energy, their balance was $1,480, and that has remained the same. City Winery escrow, $580, and that's where it's at now, $580. Prime Metal Corp, $5,000. The Municipal Accelerated Savings Account, the checkbook beginning balance was $247,099.48. We received interest of $321.89. The balance now is $247,421.37. There was that transfer of $45,000 and a transfer of $1,000. That balance is $201,421.37. Hudson Valley Country Club, the balance is $7,187. The bank card, there was a charge, there was $281.12. The $1,000 was transferred in, bringing their balance to $1,281.12. Out of that, we had some fees to Intuit for $41.09. Google, $295.05. We had a
Strata Grill.
we had a purchase at Strata Grill for $82.10. A purchase from Lakefront Motel, $233.70. United States Post Office, $14.13. Intuit QuickBooks, another fee for $41.09. Total charges were $707.16, bringing the balance to $573.96. Choice Films escrow has $5,000, and that is their balance.
Thank you, Stacy.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, Paris review. Vincent is going to go over the Paris review for us.
Yeah, so, like I said, we have to approve the financial report for the month, right?
Yes.
Make a motion.
So, make a motion?
Yeah, and I got a question.
Yeah.
So the PKF, they do the audit,
Yes.
right? So we pay $9,000?
Yeah, so the fees actually, when they do the audit, we have to pay 75% up front, and the final 25% when the audit's complete. So this was the first 75%. The total fee for them was $11,500 for the yearly audit.
Now, my question is, how long is the process for them to do this audit?
What do you mean, like?
Like, what do they take, like days, weeks?
No, I started working with them in the beginning of January, and we don't finalize and finish until March.
Oh, I see, so
Yeah.
it's an ongoing.
Yeah, so they do all the stuff for the Paris report. They contact all the projects that we have. They do a full financial audit of our agency, so they go through all of our finances. So they'll come on site here for like a week, and I'll work with them every day, presenting whatever.
So it's a lengthy process?
Yeah,
And they
yeah,
start in,
yeah.
what did you say?
They start, I think that the first week they started this year was January, the week of the 26th, I think.
Until just.
And then we finished, when they presented the.
When they presented there. Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
I think you may have been out too. We had approved that. You had to bring that up at a meeting that we were going to move forward with that. We spoke about that, actually.
Okay, yeah.
Because we talked about the fees and stuff.
Okay, so,
Pardon?
yeah, I have to, I'm sorry, say it one more time.
We spoke about, this came up at
Yeah.
a meeting, that we had to approve that.
You have to approve the financial.
We had to approve,
the
yeah, we had to
financial-
approve, the financial end before you started it. We spoke about that.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I don't know if he was here.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. I thought you meant we had to approve something at this meeting.
No.
Okay, no, good, yeah, no, but yeah, it's a kind of a lengthy process.
Yeah,
They're
thanks for
working.
the explanation. I
Yeah,
was just curious.
of course.
It's fun.
So then we just need a motion to accept the finance report.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving on. So the parish report, I wanted to go over this with everyone. Mainly, we'll skip a lot of the first half of this parish report is like administrative stuff, like questionnaire stuff about the board, the governance. But what I really want to review today with the board and for the public to hear as well is just the reportings from the jobs and from each IDA project specifically. So we'll skip ahead to where that starts, and that is page, let's see. So,
You do this every year?
no, I mean, we, like I said, this is all available on our website. I just wanted to go over, so the board's aware of where each project is with their jobs, their job compliance numbers, and their pilots. So this starts at page 18. The first project is Goodwill Properties. So, just to go over their property tax exemptions, or the pilots made this year, so their county pilot that was due to the county was $16,888, which they paid. The local pilot to the town was $24,723. That was also paid to the town. There was it says payment due to agreement. There was a mistake on this report that I had to correct with the budget office. So so where it says payment due per agreement, it says $36,000. That's incorrect. Their number was supposed to be $24,723. So that's what they paid. And then their school district pilot is $122,000, $122,431, which is what they paid. Originally, when this project came to the IDA, they estimated 20 jobs. They're currently employing 17 full-time employees. We'll go to the next one. Let's see. It's page 20. So Hudson Valley Country Club, this project did not receive any pilots, but they did use $12,468 of sales tax exemption, which is what they were approved for, which is for, like I said, they were only approved for sales tax, so no pilot for this one. They originally estimated 19 jobs to be created. They're currently employing 14 full-time jobs, but they are employing an additional 18 part-time jobs as well. On the next one, this is CAJ LLC. This project does have a pilot. So their pilot that was made to the county was $24,723. Local pilot to the town was $36,240, and school district pilot $179,236, for a total pilot payment of $240,199. This project, when it came to the IDA, they estimated 8 jobs to be created. They had 36 employees prior to receiving an IDA incentives. They are currently at 111 jobs. So they created 75 new jobs with the IDA's incentives. Next one on page 23 is Spruce Properties LLC. On the right-hand side, you see the pilot information. So their county pilot that was paid is $6,523 to the county, $9,560 to the local town, and the school district pilot was $48,469 for the total pilot of $64,552. There was no jobs created before the IDA because they did not exist. And they're currently employing 19 full-time employees. Stewart Holdings, this is the one that, this is also known as Tower Holdings. So their pilot payments that were made this last year. Again, this is the beginning of the year was the first year that they were getting onto the tax roll. So their pilot that they made to the county was $1,284. Their local pilot was $1,882. Their school pilot that they were supposed to pay that they did not pay at the time I did the parish report was $100,411. So, like I said, they did submit the payment for this. They paid $133,000 to the town. Their total balance that they owed to the town between the town and the county, the local and the school was $182,000. So they paid $133,000 of that portion of what they owed. So we just need that additional, almost $50,000 that they still owe. So they were employing 17 people before the IDA. The original estimate to be created was 17 jobs. They're currently employing 57 people. So they created 40 new jobs in the town of Montgomery.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Because I never actually saw one of these before. So what actually determines, is there a formula based on what their needs are? Like, who determines the dollar amounts?
Of
like
pilots?
what, yeah,
So it's all based on the assessment of the property.
right?
So the dollar amounts is, that's part of our, pilot schedules, right?
Right.
Depending on what their exemption is going to be. So, for instance, for this project, they're, if it was 100% exemption, obviously they only pay the whatever the current land taxes were that were already existing.
Sure.
Whatever the assessment of the building comes to, for this building, the assessment was $5.2 million. So the pilot is based on that. So their exception, so for now, like say now, they're supposed to pay 50% of the taxes.
Right.
So their assessment on their tax bill is, so instead of $5.2 million, it's half of that. So it's 50% of the assessment. And then whatever the tax rate is per that assessment is what the dollar amounts come.
Is there assessment on here somewhere?
No, it doesn't say
Okay.
that, but I can get you,
No, it's okay. I'm just trying to figure it out because I don't want to sit here and beat our heads trying to get. If somebody can walk into the town and get a pilot and pay zero in tax, like this guy's neighbor, how are we supposed to deal with that? This guy's neighbor is paying zero in tax. He's assessed at $4.4 million with a pilot directly given from the town. And he's paying zero. So how does that happen? Does the town have a UTEP policy?
so municipalities are free to do their own pilots, and Rudy, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if a town needs a UTEP because they're not
Is there an application, or like how would somebody apply for a town pilot? Rudy?
Rudy, can you comment on that?
Each town has a different process. I can do research to find out what it is for the town of Montgomery, but yes, there would be an application. And I agree with you, Vinnie, that there is no UTEP requirement because they are a municipality rather than an IDA.
Yeah, so really the way the incentives work is that the town, like for instance, for us, the way we're able to grant incentives is that we take leasehold interest of the property.
Right.
So the property is running through, and we're tax exempt. So it comes through us, and then we just determine what the payment's gonna be for the town. And, you know, that's how they're able to be tax exempt. The town, I'm imagining, is a similar process. The town probably takes ownership of the land through leasehold interest, and they kind of flow the payments to them. Is that correct, Rudy, or is that, you know, only for IDAs, or?
That's how a pilot would work.
Yeah.
I would have to look at the town of Montgomery's procedures, and I can look at the specific property that we're discussing and find out more information.
Yeah, I just want to
from
say,
that property.
I hear what you're saying.
Right.
Well,
Well, I just don't understand
But
how-
municipalities are, you know, they're free to do their own pilots at
Sure.
any time they want. A lot of times, I think it's more done for housing stuff than, you know, or some places don't have IDAs, and,
Right,
you know, they
right.
do that.
Of course.
But.
But there has to be protocol and guidelines, I would think, like a
Yeah.
program in place.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really speak to the town's procedures. We're not the town. I mean, we operate within the town and for the town, but we
Down
are
the
not
hall.
the town. We're not the town government, really. So it's,
Right.
I don't want to really speak to it too much because I don't know what the facts.
It just makes your job more difficult, because, I mean, if I was, I'd go through the town and pay nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very project specific. I hear what you're saying. I don't know how to comment on it. But,
Okay. You answered my question.
yeah. All right, moving on, because I don't want to keep everyone here all day. Cedars Apartment, they just had a bond. That's not, we'll skip that one. The Montgomery Group, they're paying a pilot. They get exempt from the county and local tax, so their school district pilot is $16,434. They were originally estimated to create 32 jobs. They're currently employing 100 full-time employees. So they created 68 new jobs. And then Yusef Sailfish, also known as Amazon. Their current pilot payments that were made to the town, for the county pilot, it was $70,182. Local pilot to the town was $102,875. School district pilot was $479,660, for a total pilot bill of $652,717. Their total exemptions that they're receiving, because they're only 5 years into their pilot, is $1.3 million. So it's $1,317,375. Their original estimate of jobs to be created was 800 jobs. They currently did see a dip in employment, so they're currently employing 741 full-time employees, but they are employing 101 part-time employees as well. And then UNFI, United Natural Foods, their county pilot that was paid was $141,010. Local pilot, $206,697. School district pilot, $1,019,146, for a total pilot of $1,366,853. Their original estimated jobs at the time of their IDA application was 331 full-time employees. They are currently employing 350 full-time employees. And then lastly, that was it. That is all of our current pilots and current IDA projects. The reason why I wanted to go over this is you guys can hear that, you know, the significant money that is being paid in taxes that would have never existed had the IDA not been there. I know I see a lot of things online about, you know, public and you know, projects should be paying full taxes, and, you know, unfortunately, we live in a very high regulatory environment with a very high tax state, and IDAs exist because without them, it'd be very hard to do business in New York State. So, but it is all brand-new tax money that was never there to begin with. It's all new jobs that was never there to begin with, and all this money comes back around to the town and kind of fuels our local economy and local business. So it's kind of why I wanted to go over it, so people can hear the numbers, and if you have any questions.
I think a lot of people would be surprised to see that. I mean,
Yeah.
because before I got on the IDA, I just always assumed
Yeah.
they pay no tax,
Yeah.
but they do.
No, they always pay whatever the current taxes are today. So that's the thing. And I think a lot of the big misconception comes is that the IDAs give out checks or give out taxpayer dollars.
Right.
That is not the case. You know, we abate the new taxes that are generated from the new project that are there. Whatever the current taxes are today, before the project is built, those are always going to get paid. Those
Right.
never get exempt. So just wanted to touch on that, and that was it.
Thank you, Vincent.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any more comments or any questions?
No.
Then I suggest we move for adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make the
Just,
motion.
just under other business, there's some,
There was other business?
there's other business, yeah. But it's just, I wanted to just talk about the annual financial disclosures, as I mentioned in my executive director report. Those are due on May 1st. So while you are here, before you guys leave today, please fill them out, make my life easier, and I won't have to hound you guys for them, so. And, but that's it. So after that, we can move to adjournment. So.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
There you go.
Aye. In favor?
Aye.
All right. Our next regular meeting schedule is for May 12th, 2026 at 1 p.m. Thank you very much.
Thank you.